What's going on, y'all? Welcome, episode 1, Marshall time. You see the faces, you can tell who's who. Josh, your elbow is your shoulder is like blocking my face. Let them see
My,
that
my,
beautiful face too. There you go. They see one eye. It's fine. It's whatever. That's me. That's me down there though. I'm Jonathan Marshall. There I go. There I go.
Joshua,
Up top. Let them know who you are.
Joshua Marshall, you know who it is.
We're brothers. You can probably tell the resemblance. And so this is something that we've been talking about for a little bit. I think, almost over a year now. We had this idea.
Yeah, it's been
We
in
had
the
this
works.
logo. We had this logo for a little bit, and we finally take the time out to put this thing in motion. And so, a little bit about us. Obviously, you see it. This is what it is, front and center. So
Sunday, I don't want no
before
hate, no haters without
before
listening to nobody.
before we even get started, this is where our fan allyship lies. This is what it is. So
Really
we
everything.
take in all the hate. We know what it is, but just so you know, this is Philly. Yeah. This is a Philly sports show as far as fans. But we talk about it all though. We're hoop heads, and so we're gonna talk about some basketball, and we'll see where this show goes. But we thank you for joining us on this journey, and we'll see where it goes. We have a lot of ideas, some interviews we want to do. Want to get the fans involved. So yeah, what else do you want to say, Josh, before we get
I
this
mean,
thing
I just
going?
want to just say thank you to everybody that's going to tune in, everybody that's going to support. Like we said, we're brothers. This is my older brother right here. I've been looking up to him my whole life. Perfect role model. So I just want to say thank you to him, and I just want to say, let's get going. It's going to be fun. It's going to be conversational. I just want everybody to enjoy, man, what we got to say. At the end of the day, it's all opinions. We're gonna bring the facts, but at the end of the
Yeah.
day, your belief is your belief, especially when it comes to sports. So let's get to
And that was nice. You're trying to make me, cry.
it. Nah,
Uh,
just paying homage.
that's all love. Trade deadline. Let's get into it. I don't know. You might have been asleep because
Definitely was knocked out.
I sent you the screenshot, but I go to sleep late. I get off work so late, but I saw the trade. KD to Kevin Durant to Phoenix. That was that was a shocker in some ways. It was a shocker because you see the headlines. If KD and the Nets are trying to figure it out, and maybe they're not looking to move him just yet. But it wasn't a shocker because you look at the Nets situation. Harden's gone, Kyrie's gone. Why is KD staying there? What's the point? Brooklyn should just get off of that, figure it out, try to rebuild the right way. Pre-Harden, Kyrie. If you remember, they had D'Angelo Russell, they had Dinwiddie, they had these young guys, Karis LeVert. I actually liked watching that team. And then they said, let's do away with that. Let's get this big three going. And obviously, it failed. It didn't work at all. And so, yeah, to start it off, how do you see this trade for Phoenix? First and foremost, where are they in the Western Conference to you right now?
So they're definitely back into the elite things when it comes to the ranking in the Western Conference. This season I kind of felt like they were just at a standstill because we saw what happened to them in the finals. They lost to the Bucks, 2 seasons ago. They come in this year. D Book is hurt. They were struggling. CP3, he's getting older. He's still a great player. He's still a great floor general, but he's only getting older. So I just felt like they needed this move badly. And they got to give a lot of credit to Kyrie Irving requesting that trade because I feel like without him requesting that trade, KD wouldn't even be on his team. So just the fact that that happened, I know they had a new owner, and I know they were saying he was really looking to make a change, and this is the change they definitely needed. So getting Kevin Durant, who is a top 5 player in the game, really top three, that's just going to change their whole trajectory. So now it's like they should be final favorites. They should be finals favorites. I mean, the West it is open, kind of sorts because the Nuggets have been doing their thing. You can't never count the Warriors out. The Clippers, they're still a strong team. They haven't done anything in the playoffs, but they got the players to do it. But I mean, the Suns are right in the mix, so they're back into the elite mix, and the whole NBA, not even just the West.
Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, two of the best scorers that we've ever seen, let alone this era. I don't know how you defend that. And then you have Chris Paul, the ultimate point guard. When you talk about the essence of a point guard, getting others, making others better, controlling and manipulating the pace and the whole energy of a game. I mean, for me, KD and Booker are going to have their way. There's not going to be so much pressure on them to create, obviously, because of Chris Paul, and you can't really key on one guy or the other. And so people talk about, yes, giving them Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, that's some depth, that they're losing, obviously, defensively with Bridges for sure. I just think that's too much firepower for this not to work. And when I say work, at least make a Western Conference Finals run. To me, before this trade, it was Denver and then everybody else in the West. I just think there's some questions when it comes to the Memphises, and New Orleans just sort of fell off a little bit. They have to get healthy with Zion. Sacramento's there, but they're unproven. I think it was just Denver and then everybody else. But to me, it's Phoenix and Denver. Like, I don't know how.
Y'all go to State out?
Golden State's I love Golden State. I love Steph. Steph's hurt right now, right? And I don't know, but he'll be back. But at how much? Here's the thing: they're in ninth place right now, right? And so, how much can they hold it down for Steph until he comes back? Because you don't want to be in a situation where you're scrambling when he comes back. You're trying just to get in the play-in, right? Or you're trying just to make the play-in, right? And so you don't want to be in that situation because anything can happen at that point. And so if Steph is healthy, we'll see, but I still haven't seen a consistent enough effort from them throughout the year. I always believe in Steph and those guys, but something just hasn't been clicking this year. And so I have to see more of that consistently. But with Phoenix, that's a lot of firepower. But Denver, to me, you got the Joker, obviously. Joel Embiid's our guy. I feel like Jokic might. I think they're going to do it again for him. The MVP. I think it's going to happen. I got a feeling.
We gotta have a separate conversation about that.
That's a totally different conversation.
Right. But we'll move that to another time. Trust me.
I think they might do it. Yeah, but I just look at their roster. I'm looking at their roster right now. The only thing that concerns me is the health of Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray. Murray seems to be getting back into form, but Michael Porter Jr., he seems to there's always something going on, right? And so can he sustain and be healthy throughout a stretch run in the playoffs? But the guys that they have, they work so well around the Joker. They just have firepower. They got guys that are going to play the defense. They're going to run the floor. They can shoot it. Just a perfect team. Like, it's a well-balanced team. And so whoever comes out of the West, though, obviously, they're going to be scoring buckets. Between Phoenix, Denver, and Dallas. We can talk about, which leads me to the other deal. Kyrie going to Dallas. Does that raise your expectation for the Mavericks right now? Luka, Kyrie. It's going to be special. That's all I can say. It's going to be special offensively to watch.
My opinion on that trade, I love that trade. For one, because I love Luka's game and I love Kyrie's game. And I've seen, it's been mixed reviews between the whole NBA. People are saying, how is it going to work? People are saying, I even saw somebody say, this is Rondo 2.0 going to Dallas. And I was like, he's crazy. And at the end of the day, we all been saying Luka just needs help. You know what I mean? So even from his first playoff, when they were in the bubble, he was going at Kawhi, PG, the Clippers. He was giving them a run for their money, dropping 30, 40 points. He was going crazy. So it's like at this point, you put him with another bucket getter, somebody that's been proven in the playoffs. He hit one of the biggest shots in NBA Finals history, if not the biggest shot. You know what I mean? So you got him he's like another killer. Kyrie can play on the ball or off the ball. And I just feel like the thing about Dallas is their offense was already so potent. You're just dropping Kyrie Irving in there, somebody that's just a bucket getter. And he's just a smart player. He's talented. He can dribble with both hands. He can finish with both hands. He can shoot. He can get hot in a minute. And the only question about Dallas is their defense, which is a real question because, they gave up Dorian Finney-Smith, who was their wing defender, versatile defender, and now he's gone. So my only question is, how are they going to stop guys come down to it in the crunch? Because we all know the playoffs is about who's going to score in the half court, who's going to make the tough shots, who's going to get the buckets. So we know they have the people to get the buckets, but what happens when some of them shots are not falling? Because we know Kyrie and Luka, they're great players, but they take tough shots. And sometimes those tough shots don't always fall. So we need to find out, all right, let's say Kyrie missed a couple shots in a row, Luka missed a couple shots in a row, and now you got KD or Devin Booker coming down, pulling from 30 feet or coming off the pick and roll, shooting a jumper. You just never know what can happen. So I really wanted them to try to make another move before the deadline to get like a defender or anything like that. But we'll see how it goes. I mean, it's going to be interesting, and they're definitely title contenders for sure.
Yeah, Dallas is going to be interesting. Luka's been my best favorite player to watch this season. I mean, just the things that he does. I mean, we talk about our top five, in the game right now. I'll say Luka's top three.
He's in there.
And
I think he's been top five for the past 2 seasons, in my opinion.
Personally, Luka might be number 2. I'm with
it's
just because there's a guy named Giannis who's there's just some things physically that Luka just can't do, right?
Like, right, and Giannis has the hardware.
Exactly. So, but what Luka does, Luka is so good, he's good enough to take whatever, okay, you give me these pieces, I'm going to make it work, right? Like you saw the run that they made last year. They went into Phoenix and got them out of there real quick, wrapped them up, right?
Yep.
Matter of fact, Phoenix got KD just to beat Luka. Let's just say that, right? So,
hey, we could say that.
I think Kyrie and Luka are they're basketball like naturals. They're savants. Like they just know how to play the game, so they'll figure it out. And we, like you mentioned, we talk about Luka needing some help. This is help.
This is help on
steroids.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be a fun backcourt. And for Dallas, just thinking about this deal, you could talk about, obviously with Kyrie, it comes with some concerns, right? Like, can you trust him to be there? Can you trust him to be locked in, focused? Because when he's focused, he's a bucket any night. I think for Dallas, let's worry about the free agency when it comes, because I have my thought. I don't know if he'll stay there or not. I don't think
Nobody
he will.
does.
But we'll see.
I don't even think Dallas, he will.
But for Dallas, you got to swing for the fences. You got a generational. Luka's a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer. That's just what it is, right? He's a Hall of Fame talent. We got to give him help. Like, he hasn't played. Look at all the guys that have. Look at all the superstars in the game. They've had a legit number 2, even number 3. Like, they've had Hall of Famers next to them, right? You got to give a guy like Luka that opportunity to play with a caliber of talent, and this was their best opportunity to do so. And I don't blame them for trying to swing for the fences. Like, they had to do it when it comes to helping out Luka and because Luka, I watch a lot of Dallas's games, and he carries a heavy burden, and physically, like he's missed, he misses some games because his body, he's just taking on a lot. And so I want to see how defensively it works, but I think for Dallas, it's like, we're going to get buckets, try to keep up with us.
Right, that's the direction.
That's just what it's going to be. Like, when you play them in a 7-game series, you have to outscore them.
Yeah.
You have to. And so having guys like Luka and Kyrie, what it's going to do is it's going to make the game much easier for Tim Hardaway, and Josh Green and Jaden Hardy they've been playing much better.
And they still got Christian Wood too. Another good player.
Yeah, so they have a solid core of role players. It's just defensively, when you're facing a Denver or a Phoenix, can you lock in? And we'll see. But it's going to be a lot of scoring. It's going to be a lot of scoring. And so the West is tough, though. The West is going to be interesting, but I think it's Denver and Phoenix top 2 for me. We'll see how this Luka and Kyrie experiment goes and see how their whole roster forms around them. But after that, you have Memphis, New Orleans, Dallas, Sacramento, Golden State still in there. I mentioned Memphis. So the West is going to be fun. Staying on the West, the Lakers. Everybody wants to talk about the Lakers and that comedy show. Russell Westbrook is finally gone. I have to give kudos to what they did. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I've enjoyed seeing the Lakers be the league's comedy show for over the past year or so. They've been hilarious. Like, just seeing Lakers fans just be disappointed. It's a special thing, right? So they made a good move by getting rid of Russell Westbrook. They get D'Angelo Russell back. They get Malik Beasley from Utah. You get Jared Vanderbilt from Utah. I think the roster is more balanced. They get younger. added some defense, add some shooting, which they needed. LA got better. I don't think they're a championship contender just yet. LA got better. That's what I'll say.
So LA definitely did get better. They had to get Russell Westbrook out of there just because I feel like the chemistry wasn't working. They thought that they could bring him in thinking, he'll take some work off of Bron, take the load off of Bron. Bron's getting older. And, it was a good idea in theory. But when you put them all together on the court, when you think about it, their best shooter probably was LeBron. And any team with your best shooter being LeBron, that's not really a good shooting team because LeBron, that's not what he does best. He can shoot the ball, of course, but that's not his best attribute. So I felt like them getting that just on the court, and even AD, he hasn't been shooting good from three the past, season and a half. So it's like when you're playing out there, the spacing is terrible. You got Russ, AD, Bron, you know what I mean? It just wasn't fitting. And then they went and got Pat Bev, who they also traded. They got Pat Bev out of there too. So that was a good move. I believe they bring in Mo Bamba. So that's another solid move because they got rid of Thomas Bryant. Yeah. So the Lakers definitely did get better. So the real concern for them is two things. The one is for sure is Anthony Davis going to stay healthy. Everybody knows when Anthony Davis is healthy, he's an elite player, top 10. When he's playing to his best ability, he arguably could be top 5 just because he can do so many things at 6'10". But his main problem is, can he stay healthy? It's been so many times where he's tweaking something. I've watched games where he's jumping in the air, he lands and he's holding his back. You know what I mean? It's sad to see, but it's the reality. And that's the one question. The other question I have is D'Angelo Russell, right? He's a talented basketball player. He had a good run with the Nets. Timberwolves, he's been inconsistent. He'll have a night where he's getting 25. Then I check the box score, and the other night he's having like 10. He shot 2 for 12 or something. You know what I mean? So can he be consistent? I feel like if D'Lo can be consistent and we can get, just the same impact that he had on the Nets. Not saying he has to go out there and average 25 because he's playing with Bron and AD. That's not really realistic. But what can his impact be? If he can have a good impact, he can come in and be a good point guard that can knock down shots, make the right plays. The Lakers, they might can make a run. I mean, I don't really believe in it just because I feel like they're so, it's just like you said, it's a comedy show over there. I don't feel it. And the chemistry, I don't feel it. I saw AD the other night, like when Bron broke the record, I saw AD just sitting on the bench. He didn't even care. So I just feel like they're so out of it. I don't know, but time will tell. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, LeBron is LeBron, right? So that's the only reason why we even give them. That's the only reason why we're talking about the Lakers,
right?
Is because of LeBron. Like, if they will be an afterthought, right? Like, so that's the only reason I'm giving them any chance of a hope because LeBron is still playing in year 20, is still playing at such a high level. I don't trust the Lakers because I don't trust AD.
Right.
This dates back even when he was with the Pelicans, and I worked down south, and I was in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, which is not far from New Orleans. So paying attention to the Pelicans, he would have missed a few games here and there. It'd be like small injuries, like an ankle or just whatever, nothing major, but just. And this was way back when he's in New Orleans, and I always thought in the back of my mind, like, this is going to catch up. This is going to slowly build. Like, some guys are just, we see it with Joel Embiid. Some guys are just, their bodies break down, injury prone, especially with big guys. And so he just doesn't seem right. He doesn't, there are some games I watch and I'm like, I don't even feel his impact out there.
Right.
For a guy his size and his talent, his impact should be, you should feel it. You don't have, you should just watch it and just see him jump out at you. And I've watched too many games this season. Like, there was a stretch where he was hooping, right? But I don't know if he can do that on a consistent basis anymore, at least not this season, because I don't think his body, his body needs to get his body right. And I don't think what they need from him now and trying to make a push, I don't know if he has enough time to get his body right to where it needs to be. So I don't know if we're ever going to see a 100% fully right Anthony Davis this season. So that's the only thing that concerns me. But I would move right now, looking at the standings. I mean, they're outside the play-in.
Exactly.
Crazy. They have the third worst record in the Western Conference. But the crazy thing about the West is you can win a couple games and you're right in it.
Yeah, it's
right?
real tight over there. It's close.
So LA can, but the thing about the Lakers is they put themselves behind the 8 ball so much they're going to have to scramble. They're going to have to put a string of like four straight wins together, right? Because they're playing catch up now, just to make it into the play-in territory, right?
And I believe the Thunder are ahead of them now, and they just lost to the Thunder the other night.
Exactly.
So it's just like games like that where they're dropping is just not good for them.
Yeah, so I mean that's how I see it in the West. Look, the trade deadline was crazy, man. This is like a dream, a kid's dream who grew up playing NBA Live or 2K. You making these fantasy trades. That's just these GMs, these teams playing 2K, NBA Live with these trades, man. I don't remember an NBA deadline that was so like you're checking the Twitter every other second. You're gonna miss something, right? It's just like I feel like there's still moves that I'm like, I didn't know Devontae Graham was traded to the Spurs, like just to the Spurs. Like I'm just seeing new things.
There was a lot of sneaky moves today. There was a lot of sneaky moves. And it's all because at the end of the day, it's a players' league. So like we saw the Nets situation before the season started, KD and Kyrie wanted out. Then they say, you know what, we're gonna work on it. The Nets owner was trying to, kind of like say, we're not going to give Kyrie what he wants, blah blah blah, trying to strong arm his way. But he ended up trading Kyrie anyway, and then we got KD going to the team. They've been talking about KD to the Suns since the summer, but now what's happening? And it's all because it's a players' league. Players demand trades, and then you got to get them out of there because it's time to rebuild. So.
Let's take it to the East. And I'm going to just look. We told you we're Philly fans, and you know what comes with that. Go Eagles, by the way. Go
yes,
Eagles. Sir. Don't let today distract you from the fact that the Eagles are in the Super Bowl.
Yes, sir. That's what's going to cheer you up. You see the hood, you see his hat. We here.
But we got to talk about the basketball team. I'm disappointed. I'm seeing all these moves. And I don't want to be active and make moves just for the sake of making moves. If it makes sense, make it. If it doesn't make sense, just hold off. But the Lakers, they're not a championship contender, but they got better. Like they're making moves that make sense. Even the Celtics, it may not seem like a crazy thing. They got Mike Muscala, but adding just a big man who can stretch the floor and shoot it a little bit in that offense.
Right, because you never know.
Who knows in a playoff game? He can light it up. Blake Griffin went crazy from three against us. So Muscala, maybe if he hits 2-3 big shots from three, just from stretching the floor, and you never know how that can be come playoff time. And so the Sixers trade Matisse Thybulle, who I've always been a fan of, even before we drafted him, just hasn't worked out. His offensive game hasn't developed. And I think in Portland, less pressure, a better situation, maybe because the Sixers, I don't think they haven't proven to be a spot to where they've been able to develop players. And that's another conversation. But going to Portland, Anthony Simons, Shaedon Sharpe, obviously Dame is still there, but I like the developmental process of what Portland has going on. In return, they get Jalen McDaniels. The Portland Trailblazers get Matisse Thybulle. It's a 3-team deal. Jalen McDaniels to Charlotte, from Charlotte to Philly. And the Blazers are going to send Svi, I don't want to butcher his last name. Mykhailiuk to Charlotte. Also, shout out to the Knicks, though. They got Josh Hart. That's a good deal, low-key, for them. So I'm disappointed in the Sixers. To me, seeing the performance against the Celtics are missing Marcus Smart, Rob Williams, Al Horford. Jaylen Brown leaves the game in the second quarter, and you get worked by their role players. Jason Tatum had 12 points. It's those moments. I was starting to get confident in this squad, but then those moments was like back to reality. Like they're going to let you down again. And I feel like we're headed to another early exit in the playoffs. I don't want to say it, but I don't know. This Jalen McDaniels, from what I've seen, is a nice young player, developmental, but he's not moving the needle like that. I don't know how to feel about the Sixers right now. I don't know. I think we're number 3 behind Boston and Milwaukee. I just got to be honest. I got to be honest right now. Because I've seen Milwaukee do it, right? I've seen Boston do it. Right. I haven't seen the Sixers do it.
So personally, just being a Sixers fan, like we said, it's been the same thing for us, early playoff exit, second round exit, whatever. But honestly, the move, it was just like a whatever move. When I saw it, I was like, okay. But as I started to think about it more, this makes us better in a way if we play it right, and that comes down to coaching. And I'll tell you why. So Matisse Thybulle, everybody's a fan of him. I'm a fan of him too because he plays great defense. And he actually improved on his three ball a little bit. He was shooting like 33% from three this year, which is good for him if you know where he's come from. And even last night, he hit a three. There's been some games where he hit it, he'll hit the corner three. You know what I mean? So he's gotten better. He's worked on it, but he didn't have enough minutes to really showcase what he's really been working on. So him going to Portland, that's cool. And the thing about getting Jalen McDaniels is he's somebody that's taller. He has longer arms, faster. He can shoot better. Okay. Now, the reason I say this could make us better, it all comes down to coaching is what lineups are we going to play him with? Now, me personally, PJ Tucker, I know what he brings. I know he's an anchor, defensive anchor, but this year you could just tell he's on his way out. He was never quick or anything, but he's getting slower, it feels like. He's not even shooting the corner three that he's known for. And when he does shoot it, it's like short every time. I'm getting Danny Green vibes from that when he was with us. So I don't know. I feel like I know we're starting Melton now and having Maxey come off the bench. And honestly, I think we need to go back to Maxey starting with Harden just because those two complement each other so well on the offensive end. Now, the problem with that is Maxey's not a great defender. Harden's not a great defender. So is there a way where we could start Jalen McDaniels with Tobias and Embiid? I don't know. I don't know if Doc will even attempt that. I would like to see him try it in the game just because I feel like you can offset Harden and Maxey's defensive liabilities with McDaniels being in that lineup. Now, I don't know. I don't know if we'll even do that. But I do know even if he comes off the bench, he's going to help with our rebounding. He's going to help with our defense. Because off the bench, we got Montrezl Harrell and Niang. Niang's not a great rebounder. He can shoot. Montrez, I mean, we know he's an energizer bunny, but at the end of the day, he's 6'7", 6'8". There's only so much he can do. You know what I mean? And his offense is meh. Like his offense is, you know what I mean? He gets hustle buckets. So I feel like just Jalen McDaniels, it made our team better, but we have to see how big of an impact he's going to have. Will Doc let him have a big impact? If he gives him the minutes, will he prove himself? So that's what we'll have to say.
I hear you. I'm gonna give him a chance. Like, he's a better offensive option. I'm not expecting Klay Thompson shooting from him, right? Like,
no, of course not.
Not expecting that. I'm gonna just say it, man. We can pinpoint a lot of things. We can pinpoint Doc's coaching and the lineups. We can pinpoint, defensively, Niang and Montrez, maybe not the best options off the bench defensively, right? You look at this box score, Philly, Boston, there's a certain guy making a lot of money at 4 points. And you know which guy I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That's Tobias Harris. Look, good player. Seems like a good dude. But 4 points versus what you're making, whether or not the expectations are fair, obviously the expectations Philly fans have on Tobias Harris obviously don't measure up to his actual talent or ability to be consistently what we need him to be. But that's what comes with getting a big contract.
Right.
Fans' expectations come from your salary. If you're making the league minimum, we're expecting the minimum. If you're making the league maximum, we expect. If you're making max dollars, we expect max play.
Right.
In a game where Blake Griffin has 15 points, Sam Hauser has 14, Jason Tatum only had 12, Derek White has 19, Sam Hauser has 14, Luke Cornett had 8 points. Luke Cornett had more points than you and less field goal attempts. Tobias Harris isn't getting it done. And I think that's a major reason why this team won't reach the championship levels that we need, that we want them to reach as Sixers fans, right? That's just the reality of it. Because you have a guy in Tobias Harris, he's paid like the third guy. He's the third guy behind Embiid and Harden. So if Tobias isn't performing like he's supposed to, that puts more pressure on a guy like Tyrese Maxey to, I guess, fast forward his development. He's still people forget he's still a young player. Mm-hmm. Like he's still growing and learning. He's showing flashes. Like he's not going to arrive tomorrow. He's still growing and learning. But Tobias not being that guy that we need him to be, we're expecting so much more from Maxey now. Somebody has to pick up that slack. And so that's what concerns me come playoff time. I know what I'm going to get from Embiid. I know what Harden's going to do. Tobias Harris in the big moments, can I trust it? And I just don't. I've seen it too many times. I will not be fooled again. I just won't. That's why I'm down with Tobias. That's where I'm at. Nothing personal, though. Just basketball.
I mean, me personally on Tobias, I think he's a good player. He's overpaid. But I tell people all the time, I honestly don't think he gets the right opportunities. And I'll say this because anytime Embiid and Harden go out, he usually plays good and we usually win with it. Like I remember when we played the Nets the first time, Embiid, Harden, Maxey were all out. Everybody was like, oh, the Sixers going to get blown out. Ben Simmons coming back. And he carried us to that win against the Nets, against, KD, Ben Simmons, everybody coming to Philly. Okay, that's cool. You know what I mean? And it's been games like that before. Now, I will say, like I say, he's overpaid. And he doesn't always show up. He doesn't. But at the end of the day, I feel like he doesn't get the right look sometimes. Sometimes he does. Last night was terrible. But everybody shot bad last night on our team, if we're just being honest. Maxey, you know what I mean? Harden played good and B played good, of course. But, I mean, I don't know. When it comes to the Sixers, like, we're diehard fans. We want them to succeed. But it's just a question all around. When it comes to the playoffs, there's a lot of question marks with this. The first question is Embiid going to stay healthy? The next question is Harden going to show up? Because we could do this a whole nother time. He's a playoff choker. Okay. I'm going to just call it how it is,
Yeah, man, we can't. I mean, Doc he had a 3-1 lead.
Right. Doc choked in the playoffs.
The history of coaches, and we got a coach and players who haven't,
Right. So it's just
not reliable.
It's just a lot of question marks with that. But I don't know. Like I tell people, it's a long season. The All-Star break is coming up. After that, we'll see what happens. We'll see if the trade with McDaniels makes any lineup changes. Boston is the favorites right now in the East, and that's just what it is.
Yeah, Boston's the favorite.
After what they did last night, full team effort on both sides. They had Sam Hauser come in hitting threes on us. Derek White getting chased down blocks like he was LeBron in the finals. Like and I feel like they're determined. They got a taste of that finals last year, and then they lost or whatever. But now they're trying to go back. And Tatum has improved as a playmaker. He's improved his finishing. Jaylen Brown is still a dog. So we'll just see how it goes.
Boston made a very smart move by picking up Malcolm Brogdon, because I don't think I saw it a lot during the finals last year. Because I covered the Celtics and I covered them in the finals last year. Too much relying upon Tatum and Brown when it comes to initiating the offense and ball handling. I think by getting a Malcolm Brogdon, who's a point guard, proven point guard in this league, lessens the load on them to be ball handlers when they're playing together. And also just another guy, like we saw yesterday, if Tatum was not having his usual night, if Brown's out, Brogdon's a guy who could just create his own off the dribble. Derek White as well.
Just a pro point guard all around.
Yeah, Derek White can do the same, right? Like they have multiple guys that can get it and go, clear it out, break my man down, bucket. You know what I'm saying? And that's what makes them so lethal. And I don't see enough of that with the Sixers. Yeah. I don't see enough of that creation outside of Harden and Maxey, at least from the perimeter. So a lot to be said about the roster construction of a Boston and Philly. But right now, I mean, Boston, they've been the favorite from the beginning, and they're proving it. They're determined. I think if I had to pick right now, they would represent the Eastern Conference. As much as it, hurts me to say, I just got to be honest, right? I got to be real with it. I saw what they did the other night in Boston against Philly. So that's how I see it. Would they be your pick?
Yeah, they're definitely my pick right now. I'm not going to count the Bucks out because Giannis is Giannis. I know Middleton's been up and down with his health and all that, but I feel like they're going to work him back. They've done it before. Drew is Drew, great point guard, great defender. But Boston, like I said, I just feel like they're hungry. That's my pick. They're hungry. They're deep. You know what I mean? They had the whole thing with the coaching situation, and they're right back in the mix still number one in the whole league. All right, so. All right, so John, I got a question for you before we got to wrap it up.
What up?
Trade deadline move that was like a sleeper pick to you, a sleeper trade that happened from a team?
Um, I would say there's one move in particular. There's a couple that I like actually for individual young guys. I will say there's one trade that I like for a young guy, but I also like for the team that was involved. Both teams that were involved. It was a 14 deal. Um, but I like James Wiseman. So the Hawks got Sadiq Bey. Um, Pistons got James Wiseman. Warriors get Gary Payton the second, and the Blazers got 5 second-round picks. I love the deal for the Warriors getting GP2 back. I think he'll add what they've been missing. He was on the team, he was on the team last year during their finals run, and just that energy and defense that he brings. I think they've been missing that, and bringing that back will do wonders. And I also love James Wiseman's situation, getting a fresh slate, going to Detroit, where you have Cade Cunningham, Jay and Ivy, Jalen Duren. Might get a top 2 pick. So just that young core that they're building, and James Wiseman, who knows? I think a lot of people write these young guys off so quick. It didn't work out in Golden State. It's obvious. I don't know what's going on, what the issue was, but he has a fresh slate, and who knows? You can't compare his journey to the next young player. I know he'll be tied to LaMelo and Anthony Edwards, and as far as being in that draft class, but James just has to focus on himself, his development, and I think he has a great opportunity to develop. And also Bones Highland going from Denver to the Clippers. Shout out to Bones from Delaware for sure. We love to see him do well. So I think going to the Clippers a fresh slate as well. So those are two that definitely stick out to me.
Yeah, so the one I definitely like those two acquisitions for both those teams. Wiseman, he still has a lot of potential. He's still very young. We've seen players, it takes them a few years to develop, it takes the right situation. The NBA is all situational. And Bones going to the Clippers, that's a great pickup too. 302 got to represent. The one move that I like a lot is the Knicks getting Josh Hart. So they gave up Cam Reddish, and they also gave up some second-round picks as well to get Josh Hart. First of all, Nova Nation, y'all know, represent Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart back together. I seen the video. Jalen Brunson went crazy when he heard the news, and I was like, "Yo, that's so dope that we getting the Nova Nation boys right up 95. They want to chip together in college. The thing about the Knicks is they're a solid team. They have good players. They don't have that superstar that's going to take them over the top, but that Julius Randle, he's bounced back this year. Jalen Brunson, he's playing good. A lot of people thought he was getting overpaid, but we know the nation, we going to step up when it's time. So, and he's doing that. So yeah, the Knicks, that's just a team that I feel like a superstar that may want to leave the situation or might be a free agent coming up. They could look at the Knicks and be like, okay, big market. They're not really the laughing stock how they once were. They got some solid pieces there. If I go there, we could really do something special. And I feel like Josh Hart, that's another move. It's like a culture move. He's a dog. He's going to play defense. He has championship pedigree from college. He's going to rebound. He's going to hustle. You know what I mean? So I just feel like a little move like that could go a long way. Maybe a summer from now, or 2 summers from now. You just never know. We see Kyrie and KD then got traded like that. So the NBA is constantly moving. We don't know what's going to happen. So I feel like when teams are making moves like that, it's going to help them in the future and just going to build them up and build up their resume and how they look to other players. It goes a long way. So I feel like that was a sneaky move for them. I also like the Raptors getting Jakob Poeltl back because they drafted him and then he was on the Spurs, but now he's back with the Raptors and he's been one of the best defensive big men this year. So that's a good pickup for them. We know the Raptors is rumors about them trying to rebuild. So we'll see how that looks, but that was a sneaky good move for them too.
Yeah, love the Josh Hart pick to the Knicks. He's one of those guys, much like Mikal Bridges, another Villanova guy. You put him in any situation, they're going to find a way to make an impact. And so I think the Knicks, they could use more of those type of guys. You know what I'm saying? And I think that helps out. And having Jalen Brunson there, his college teammate, is going to be even great. And so the Knicks are, they're a good team. They're respectable. You have to come and play with the Knicks now. Like, you can't just overlook them. And so, yeah, we'll see what I still think they need to add, like you said, another big piece. I don't think what they have is enough to compete with the Bostons and the Milwaukees and the Sixers in a 7-game series. But I think they have it right with Jalen Brunson. And we'll see what they add around him. Obviously, they have RJ Barrett and Julius Randle. And we'll see how that core develops. I still think, like you said, a big name free agent would do wonders for them because I don't think they have that guy just yet. Jalen Brunson is a great player. Julius Randle's playing at an all-star level. RJ Barrett's still growing. He's shown some promise, but you still got to have that undisputable elite player, and they don't have that, right? So, but they have the pieces that could go perfect with that. So I like that. At the end of the day, the deadline, the Boston Celtics are still the best team in the East, and Denver is still 1, 2 in the West. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting. I'm excited though. I'm excited to see these new look teams: Dallas, Phoenix, Lakers.
I can't wait to watch Kyrie and Luka play.
Yeah.
Like, I just can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
And KD and Booker. I can't wait to see how it looks. It's going to be, if you're just a basketball fan, you don't even got to be a fan of a team. You're just a basketball fan, pure basketball. Get into a bucket, smooth footwork. You know what I mean? Just stuff like that. If you a fan of that, like I am, you can't wait to see them teams play. And I can't wait till they play against each other. I got to mark that on my calendar.
I wouldn't mind that playoff series. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And even LeBron, like seeing that the Lakers made these moves, will that energize them some more? Like, hey, let's do this. I got some young guys that can run with me, that can do a little bit. Like, will that energize him for this second half stretch? So I'm excited. Enough basketball talk. Eagles Chiefs Super Bowl. I think we all know what you lean into. Championship parade on Broad is loading.
Listen.
Fly Eagles fly. There's no doubt. We've been the best team from the beginning, and we're the best team in this matchup. Patrick Mahomes, I respect him, but teams win championships.
Football is the ultimate team sport. I know basketball, it's about the stars, it's about the guys, but football, you got to be solid everywhere. And I've been telling people, this team that we have now on paper and the way they've been playing is low-key. They're better than that 2017 Super Bowl team.
So they are better.
It's just one more game that they have to win to really stamp it. But at the end of the day, we've answered every question. I got to give major props to Jalen Hurts. He stepped it up. I wasn't, you know this. I wasn't a big fan of him last year, but he's improved so much. And I know people are going to say, we got a great team around him, which we do. But at the end of the day, when you watch those games like I do, I watch every game, every play. You got to make the right plays, and he doesn't turn the ball over. It's a lot of quarterbacks that people love that turn that ball over. He doesn't turn the ball over, so you got to give him credit for that, and he's improved in his passing. Am I saying he's the best quarterback? No, but he's the right quarterback for this team, and he's a leader. So I'll give him his props right here. So, yeah.
There's something to be said about Jalen Hurts and his development, his growth. I think people are hesitant to give the proper just due to Jalen because he doesn't fit. It doesn't look like how a top quarterback should look, right? You see Mahomes and Joe Burrow and these guys, Josh Allen, and just I think he's gonna prove some people wrong Sunday. I believe in it. I think our offensive line, our defensive line, the best in the league, pound for pound. And the game is won, as we know in football. You got to have strong O-line. You got to have a strong D-line. We're protecting the quarterback. Our run game is serious. We're getting to the quarterback. We're knocking QBs out, literally. You don't want to hurt anybody, but our defense, that's how serious it is. We're getting to the quarterback, and we're making plays. Shout out to the fact that Hassan Reddick isn't a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year is ridiculous.
And that's cool. I told everybody.
He may win Super Bowl MVP. We'll see.
Keep them regular season awards, man. It's the playoffs. It's all about the team. We're gonna leave it all out there. All 53 coaching staff, the city. This for the city. We're gonna be at the parade. We're gonna turn up. That's just what it's gonna be.
Y'all gonna learn real quick.
Y'all
gonna learn real quick that it's serious about it, and you'll see. You'll learn more about how it gets right here between us when it comes to Philly sports and Cowboys fans, and you'll learn. You'll learn. It's another Super Bowl. The Cowboys are sitting home, so it's all good with me.
I'm loving that.
But it's always next year for them, right? That's what they always say. But
that's the motto.
But it's our time. We're going to enjoy it. It's crazy. We won just a few years ago, and we back at it again. I didn't expect this. So enjoy it, Eagles fans everywhere, all across the country, the world. We got fans everywhere. I'm confident that we're going to win. I'm going to say we win by 10 points.
I think it could be a 2-possession game. The only thing is, Are we going to turn the ball over or not? Or are we going to force turnovers? If we can force turnovers and not turn the ball over, because Kansas City's not stopping us, in my opinion.
No, they're not. Their defense cannot handle ours.
At
No.
the end of the day, we just gotta take care of business, take care of the ball, and we're gonna be straight.
I think Devonta Smith and AJ Brown have a chance to eat.
Oh yeah, they said
That
the Chiefs
Chiefs,
got 2 rookie cornerbacks. I
that's
ain't feeling
food.
that for them.
That's food. That's food.
Right.
And so Devonta, people gotta give Devonta his flowers. He's been doing he's special. The catches that he makes, he's the Heisman Trophy for a winner for a reason. He's a Heisman Trophy winner for a reason. And so I mean, I don't pound for pound, the only edge they have is quarterback.
Right.
You know and
like
Andy
we
Reid
said,
more,
though,
Andy Reid has the experience.
Right. He's a great quarterback, but it's a team sport. We got the better team, period.
Great quarterback, great team.
Right.
Great team is usually going to win.
Right.
So Super Bowl Sunday, next time we chat, I'm expecting a celebration. That's what I'm expecting. So we'll see. That's episode 1, y'all. Thanks for joining us here on Marshall Time. We're going to post this on YouTube, put it out on our socials. This is episode 1, so we're still trying to figure out our process of editing and putting stuff out there and putting stuff together. But we're looking at like a 1-day turnaround, if not same night turnaround. We're still trying to figure out things when it comes to editing. But look out for us, Marshall Time Podcast on YouTube, and also our socials on the IG.
Marshall Time Pod on Twitter, Instagram, Marshall Time Podcast. So we'll have all that posted, but just look out for us. Just stay posted, keep supporting, keep spreading the word, and it's all love. Let's just keep it going.
All right, y'all. See y'all next week.
All right.